If you're trying to create cherry blossom content for your social media, there are a couple things you need to know to make sure that you're getting the content that you actually want, because the window you have to access these beautiful pink flowers is very, very small. So the first thing you want to do is do your research. You need to know where you're going and when you're probably going to need to go. You can have a window as short as just a couple of days to maybe a week before you're going to lose access to these. And it's important to note that they will blossom in different places at different times. So in my town, it actually blossoms by street. There's one street that blossoms one week, and then a couple of weeks later, you might get another blossom, or it might be separated by a couple of days or a couple of weeks, depending on where you live. So you want to know where this is going to take place. So if you do not know your town, if you do not know where these things pop up every year, go back in social media for your town the previous year. People will have posted pictures. You can look at the approximate date and the locations if they tell you, and know where and when that you should probably be going. Then you need to be hyper active on watching local-based hashtags to see when people are putting it out. Because this is becoming more popular, more people are jumping in and saying, hey, this is where and when to see these beautiful cherry blossoms. You are going to then be able to pay attention to those things, and you want to watch people who are in town. I live outside of the town where the flowers typically are. I can't go and see it. It is a little bit of a drive for me to get to where they are in my local area. And so I have to pay attention to what other people are doing so that I know when they're out. There's no kind of official post and saying, here's the time to come. And so I have to do the legwork of doing that. By knowing where things were last year and which streets blossomed first and which ones blossomed in the second and third tiers, I know where I can be going. Because if you get that signal on social media saying they're here, they're ready, and you go and they're not there, you might think that those are gone. I went and looked at one street that I went to in previous years, and everything looked dead. It looked like I missed it. But I know that it's actually the second tier. So because the higher up streets are happening now, I know a week or two from now, I'm going to have the other good streets that have better backgrounds for me and more access to those different flowering trees. So I am paying attention to what happened last year to predict what's going to happen this year. Then with that in mind, you also want to make sure that you are doing this in a safe capacity. Sometimes these are, in town where there's a lot of traffic and a lot of people. The ones that I went to look at the other day had very limited access, and it would not have been necessarily safe for me to get out of the car, park my car, or go over and try to take the content when I was there. There were way too many people. There were way too many cars. There was a lot going on, and I didn't feel necessarily safe getting out to do that. So I passed on those, and I'm waiting to the next tier to go create content this year, which I'm very excited for because I've been following it for the last couple of years, but I know safety matters. So sometimes if it's going to be in a busy place, if there's a lot of people, if it's just not going to work for you, one of the best things you can do is look for unexpected locations. Oftentimes you will see different stores or shopping complexes or places that are off the beaten path. They're not in town. They're not where the rows and rows of these trees are going to be. I actually went to a Walgreens the other day, and they had one in the parking lot, and they had one tucked away in the back corner of the parking lot that most people didn't see in an inlet of trees. So you can actually go looking for these things off the beaten path. If you know that they're happening big and bold in a location, by all means, go there, look and see what you can come up with, but do not rely on that as your only source of potential access to these beautiful trees. You want to make sure that you're looking off the beaten path, and a lot of different shops and stores and locations will have them just to be pretty. And if you angle it right, you won't even see the street behind you. You won't even see the cars parked in the parking lot. There's a lot of ways that you can find creative angles that you can take on single trees as opposed to rows and rows or streets of trees. Now, you also want to pay attention to how you are shooting this content. Your outfit is going to matter. You want to make sure you have something that's going to stand out against the pink and is going to look good on you. So something that's going to help you to stand out, because this is kind of a busy background. These flowers are a little bit on the busy side. And so you want something that's going to be solid colored. Things with patterns just don't work. I've tried them, and I'm a professional photographer of many, 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 many years, like many years. Patterns in general, not the best thing for photo shoots. And so you want to kind of minimize what you're doing. You want the focus to be on you, your face, your hair, not necessarily all the other things going on. You're going to need to stand out, so you want a color that's going to look striking against the pink. So typically we say things like black. Black looks really good with these flowers. White looks really good with these flowers. And another big one that people lean into is like a light blue color. That really looks very nice with these light pink flowers. Now you are going to have an array of different hues of the pinks, and sometimes with these cherry blossoms, they're also going to be white. Now, are they officially cherry blossoms, all of these things? No. Is that what we call them? Yes. Just run with it. Don't critique me in the comments. But you want to make sure you're having a color that's going to stand out with that, and you know which of the flowering trees is out, because people can say cherry blossoms and we all think pink, but sometimes they're white. So just be mindful, be mindful. Some people will go with something like a light tan, but you want something that's going to look classic and timeless and elegant. With this, you want long lines, and for a lot of people, you want kind of billowy type things. So something that is going to give you a good silhouette, but has some movement in it. I created a lot of content with my hair blowing in the wind and my outfit blowing in the wind. So I actually wore a jumpsuit with like legs with slits in them so that it kind of billowed like a dress without it actually being a dress. And that worked really, really well for me. I've tried different outfits over the years, and I prefer to go with a solid color with something that billows around my legs and something that is tighter, more form-fitting up top, and then to let my hair go and blow in the wind as we're doing things. Now, the other thing is you want to go early because it's going to get crowded. There's going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be a lot of traffic. There's going to be a lot of things happening unless you're on some form of private property. So you want to make sure that you are going early. The earlier, the better. If you can go at sunrise, that's the best time. I've done this for many years now. The best time is absolutely at sunrise because you get the beautiful golden glow. You get the light coming and wrapping around you and the trees and everything. You get less people. You get less traffic. It is the ultimate time to be taking these photos. With that in mind, you want to make sure, if at all possible, you get the sun behind you. You want the sun peeking through the trees, peeking through your hair, wrapping around you with a golden glow. You want to lean in to the sun's position on this one. This is going to make it look beautiful and summery and be everything you need it to be inside of these photos. If you cannot get it behind you, you're going to want to try to block as much of that light as possible so you have a nice even lighting on yourself. You do not want that harsh sunlight on your face, especially if you are a lighter toned person like I am. That'll really wash you out in these images. So you have to make sure you're paying attention to where that sun is and where you're positioning yourself. So you have a very short span that you can work on this with, but you have a lot of options. Get close-ups, get far away, get photos, get videos. You want to make sure you do as much as possible. If you have a friend that you can go with, you can take photos and videos for each other. You can also use a face tracking tripod so that your camera can film you as you walk back and forth in front of these cherry blossoms. Then look for upward angles and downward angles. You're also going to look for unique angles. So stick your phone or your camera up in the tree and shoot through the blossoms. You want to find really pretty buildings around. In my town, there are things like churches and banks and different types of like beautiful stonework. If those have those flowering trees near them, that's elite as well. So you want light colors, you want things that you're going to pop against, and just take as much content as possible. If you have the opportunity to go more than one day in a row, do it because you have a very short window. And once you go the first day, you're going to know what you can improve on, what you can do better, what angles you can try. And then the second day, you can get a little more creative and make sure you're getting a bunch of different things. Now, we talked about convertible outfits if you want to do more than one shoot without having to like change your outfit in the middle of it. We've talked about how you can be doing that in other videos, so make sure you're following along with the channel. And if you have questions on those cherry blossom photos, go ahead and drop those down below. We can talk more about how you can create them and how you can craft them for your social media. I have tons and tons of these on my socials over the years, so you can go back and get examples from what I've done, how I've done those things, and feel free to implement that in what you are creating as well. And as always, stay tuned as we help you to continue to navigate the world of your social media content so this can be your most profitable year with the least amount of stress and overwhelm and time commitment on your content as possible. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes, and happy photo shooting.